Power meters are an absolutely fantastic tool which have the potential to lead to more of a performance benefit on the bike than any other piece of equipment that you can purchase. However, you do really need to know how to use them in order to get the full benefit. So here are 5 tips on how you can get the most out of your power meter.
The best thing about training with a power meter is that the values you see are completely comparable from day to day and year to year. Now that's in contrast to speed, which can be affected by variables such as wind or riding in a group or even road surface. So instead of striving to get that elusive K or QOM, why not set yourself some power goals, both for each training session and also for where you want to be in a couple of months' time. Now that might be an FTP of 4 watts per kilogram, or it might be sustaining 300 watts for a 5-minute climb. Whatever it is, having these end goals will help you create a training plan towards that goal, and that in turn will keep you more motivated. Ultimately, what you'll probably find then is that once you've hit your power goal, you can then easily take that K or QOM at the next time of trying.
Training stress score, or TSS, is a way of analysing just how hard a ride really is. So how much it's taken out of you. And it's an absolutely brilliant tool because it effectively allows you to compare apples and oranges. So what I mean is how hard a 90-minute interval session is compared to a 3-hour endurance ride, for example. Yeah, and it's also not just good for analysing individual rides. If you keep losing TSS over long periods of time, you can build up a picture which will enable you to ensure that you're always pushing yourself enough, but not too much, that you might end up overtraining. So it's just enough stimulus, and just enough recovery as well. Now I have to say that when I first started using this about 10 years ago, it was a complete revelation for me. It actually felt like I was training a bit easier than I had done before, but I had big improvements for at least 3 years in a row. And I have to say that the more I speak to Dan about TSS, the more I wish I had used it. Imagine what might have been, Dan. Yeah. Imagine. I'm glad you didn't. You would have been so much better than me. As well as using a power meter to try and increase your power, you can also use one to try and lower it. Yeah. By that, we mean actually trying to use it to save energy, perhaps by slipstreaming in an organised ride or a race, and then saving more energy for when you really need it. Yeah, and you can also use a power meter to refine or quite literally streamline your position on the bike. So by going to some kind of controlled environment like an indoor or an outdoor track and doing multiple laps with your power meter, you should be able to find what is one of the most optimal and aero positions for you. Now I have to admit, Si and I have never done this testing ourselves. We probably should have done, but we have got a video where Team Sky do it, actually at the velodrome here in Mallorca. And now any gains that we've just talked about, we like to refer to as free speed. Oh yeah. You know, by the end of this video, there'll be so many things that we shoulda, woulda, coulda done. We probably both would have won the Tour de France, mate. The ultimate way to track improvements is through testing, and this is where a power meter will really come into its own and trump other metrics such as heart rate and speed, which, as we've already said, are affected by other variables. So every 6 to 8 weeks or so, you can test things like your 5-second sprint power, or your 1-minute power, your 5-minute power, or your 20-minute power, or all 4. And that way you'll be able to make sure that the training you're doing is leading to the desired improvements. Yeah, and if it's not, you've then got the opportunity to go back to the drawing board, analyse what's gone wrong, and then make changes to your plan to try and put it right. And we've got a video showing exactly how you can do that testing. It involves a bit of suffering. It does. But the link is below this video in the description. Finally, we recommend that you keep a log of all the data that you collect when you're out riding with a power meter. Now, there's a lot of software out there at the moment, but I've always personally used something called Training Peaks, and I like that because it can allow you to look at things simply, but also, if you're a data nerd like me, allows you to go into things in great detail as well. Now, the important thing about keeping this archive is that if you suddenly hit a period of amazing form, you look back and find out why that might have come. Yeah, or conversely, if you hit a period of bad form, then you can quickly analyse and find out what's gone wrong. Have you done too much? You haven't done enough? Or you've done the wrong things at the wrong times?
So 5 tips then which we think will help you take your cycling to the next level. But we would also like to say that educating yourself on things like forums and by reading books will also really help you when it comes to training with power. Oh, and also for some people, a coach can be really good as well to help analyse what you've been doing and also plan into the future.
Yeah, that is very true.